someone who is very passionate about a human essence and is going to talk to us now about how to adapt it. We have UX designer and AI ethics strategist, Anna Lundqvist.
Hello. Let's see if this works. Not yet. There it goes. Thank you. So, who is human? Are we equally much human in this room? And what is human? I guess that we are all painfully aware that we do make a difference of the value of humans. Some lives are worth saving, and some are not. Some are apparently okay to fight against, and some are not. I have an angel. He's my brother. His name is Eric. And he is seen by pretty much the whole world less of a human. When we're walking on the street in the city where he lives, he actually always stops me because he wants to give me a hug, because he's so happy to be in the present with me. It's not one of these hugs where you do 1, 2, 3, done. No, it's one of these hugs when you're losing your breath. And then you're doing a Hollywood flip, and it's hanging around my neck for seconds. And I'm saying, Eric, please breathe. Breathe, brother. How many of you get one of these hugs by your brother each time you see him? I know I'm lucky. And as you can see here, he calls me on FaceTime every day. Most of the time, the screen is black because he's hugging me and, of course, losing his breath. During the pandemic, he noticed that I needed a hug. So even more, he was calling and just looking at the screen. Oh, you're there, good. Losing his breath, hugging, looking, oh, she's still there. Oh, she needs another hug, hugging again, and then click. And for months, that was the only hug I got. So Eric has something called angel man syndrome. He can walk. He can run. I kind of taught him to run because I like to walk fast. And he can, of course, swim. He can ride horses. And I would call him actually a professional hugger as his profession. But he can't verbally talk. But gosh, he has a lot of things to say. I just have to see him. And then I hear all the stories. When I broke up with my ex, Eric was the only one I wanted to see. I didn't know why, but I went up north to see him. And when he saw me, he stopped. And he was leaning forward and back. As a camera lens, he was looking into my eyes, trying to see what was off. Leaning forward, back. Leaning forward and back. Leaning forward and back. I started to cry. He put his forehead, his head on my chest, and then he saw my tear, and then he's like, tear? He doesn't really have any fine motoric, so I did have a pain in my eye for a day. But he saw me. He didn't know what had happened, but he knew that something had happened. This is empathy. This is human. A couple of months ago, I was in the US, and a friend of mine, she was pregnant, and she told me about the test she'd done to see if the kid was normal. She saw me, and she showed me the test, and I saw Angelman syndrome on the list for the first time. And I knew that angels are now being rejected. Exposure to diversity is so important to grow grow the empathy. And at the same time, the higher empathy we have, a more inclusive society will we have. So we need diversity. So we get the next one. Perfect. Empathy is the beginning and the foundation of creation. For those of you that are designers or working with product or service design, you know this method. It's the design thinking method. And as a user experience designer, I'm so extremely happy that empathy is the beginning of it all. Because I need to understand what people are feeling and thinking in order for me to actually know what I can do and what product or service I should build. And this is why I'm standing here today, to remind us about empathy. And also to remind us as well that every 6th person in the world has some type of disability. Every 6th person. So in this room is 450 people. It's a lot. And all of us have it sometimes. When we haven't been sleeping much, if we're in Japan and I can't read the signs. We all have cognitive disabilities, or if you're tired, or when we get older. Empathy is the deepest level of knowing. Empathy is the highest form of intelligence. Empathy is what moves you to an understanding. And empathy is something very mystical that happens between humans, as with my brother. And despite all of these facts, we know the empathy level is going down with around 40% in the last 20 years in the US. And there are, of course, many reasons for such. Some of them are that we are so much more on the phones. It's hard for us to read what people are thinking. I don't know how about you, but I always put an emoji or two just to try to figure out that maybe they will understand me now. But also, it's like we also are removing some of the creative classes in school. And what the importance of creativity is because actually it's getting us to play about imagination. How is it to be a mom? How is it to be a dad? How is it to be police? How is it to be me standing on the stage? It's all about our imagination. And this is so important. And of course, another reason is also the stress. But I don't have time to see how you're feeling. Bye-bye. But we need to have time to feel empathy. But the positive thing actually in this room is actually as women, studies show that we have actually a higher ability to feel and show empathy. It's good for us. But also another positive thing actually is this is something we can practice. And of course we have to. So is AI human? If we were looking at the intelligence, we would say yes. But if we were looking at the EQ, not the EQ, but the EQ, the emotional, we would actually say no. But still have we started to treat the AI as human, and this really scares me because we actually are not treating humans as humans. I asked, of course, ChatGPT how they say about AI being human. And what they say really is like, no, it's not human. It mimics aspects of human intelligence, but lacks consciousness, emotions, and the full human experience. It has no body, it has no ability to give a hug. So I will end my talk with actually asking you the question, who is reminding you how it is to be human? Who is showing you empathy and teaching you empathy? I have my angel, and I hope you have yours.